you got to really care about the character. And for me, I didn't really. I mean, I felt bad for her because her friends were bitches, but you're the dumbass that's hanging around them. So, like, I couldn't really. Maybe it's because I'm an asshole. I couldn't really get attached to the character, so I feel like I was lost a little bit because of that. I'm going to talk about the negatives first. First of all, her character was annoying to me, especially after the first time I watched it. Second, you got all these hot bitches living at her apartment. We don't get naked bitches at all. I mean, come on. Come on. You got a low budget. Give them an extra joint or something. Or some X. Give them something.
That's what Blake thought. He didn't want
it. Next. You know, Vic, you talk about satanic cults and you say you like satanic cult movies, but most of them that come to mind for me suck ass. Like, half this movie felt like Lords of Salem, and I told you that. Did you notice that, too? Did you feel like this was Lords of Salem, like, for a while?
See, I like, you told me that, so I think that, like, kind of lowered my expectations going into it. But, no, I really didn't get a Salem vibe, thank God.
Well, what's funny is, so I didn't tell my wife that it reminded me of Lords of Salem. I described the movie to her, and she said, sounds like Lords of Salem. So I think that tells you a little bit about, you know, what this movie's kind of theming is for the first half of it. And, again, #me too. But it's not like the chick, you know, was a false accuser or anything. I mean, she clearly got fucked with. And, you know, I don't have any issue with her coming out and telling everybody the next day. It's the issue that I have when people, like, wait 20 years. Shut up. Nobody cares. You know what I mean? But, so, anyway, so the negatives were that the #MeToo and Lords of Salem parts of it just annoyed me. Because, I don't know, man. Again, satanic cults are cool and all, but I don't see it executed very often very well. It's kind of like what I say about vampire movies, Vic. The idea of vampire movies is great to me. It's just that most of them don't execute it very well, and it just doesn't come off very well. And I feel like that way about a lot of satanic cult movies. But, you know, once this movie gets into hyperswing where she starts fucking, you know, smelling people's pussy and shit, then then it gets pretty good. And when it turns into a slasher, it gets real fucking good. But, you know, you never really get to know the characters that well outside of her. So when all these people get, you know, knocked off, it's just like a set them up, knock them out. When I wish that part of it, you know, the 20 minutes or so where she was just hacking through people would have lasted a little longer, because that was my favorite part of the movie. I mean, if we were just talking about that part, it would probably been 3.5 to 4. It was that good. But the movie as a whole, I don't know, man. I'd probably give it 2.75 maybe. Like, I enjoyed it, but I don't see me watching this movie too many times again. And, you know, I'm all about that rewatch value, Vic. So 2.75 for me. But, you know, that's kind of because the first half I didn't like so much. The second half I really did, so I kind of meet in the middle on the whole thing. So, again, not a bad movie. It's just not something I would seek out again just because it's maybe good once, but once I watched it again, I didn't enjoy it as much. I guess because of the shock factor of the slasher part of it had worn off by that point. So maybe I'll feel differently in a year. Who knows? And I'm going to pass the blunt to Blake.
There's Blake dead.
Pass the axe to Blake.
There. All right. Well, I kind of, you know, sitting and listening to what you guys said and, you know, your thoughts and opinions, some things notwithstanding, you know, I kind of just feel like the movie was a little bit slow. Yes, I agree with that. But it started to pick up for me when you see that the producer is just as foul as the casting director and the assistant. That's when it really started picking up for me. The deviousness and the otherworldly, you know, quality that he had, that kind of interested me because it kind of, I was like, yeah, it's okay for the first, you know, few minutes. And then when that happened, I started to become a little more interested. And then, like you guys said, when she started rotting and started attacking her friends, that's when I really, you know, my interest peaked a little bit. And then when she goes through and starts, like, you know, actually physically, like, murdering her friends, and that's when I didn't want to get up and do anything else. I wanted to sit there and watch how it was going to play out because it jumped to another level for me, and I kind of liked it. I liked that it played with my emotions about the movie. I think that was like an intentional thing on the director and the writer's part, to be honest, because if you recommend it to anybody else, they'll be like, man, it was a slow burn, and kind of, I didn't know how to feel about it at first, but then, about 30 or 40 minutes into it, I was like, wow, this is great, and I think they did that on purpose to elicit that reaction. The gore was amazing. The kills were great. I kind of wish that they had been longer, like you, Travis. I wish they would have, had more, victims possibly. But what we did get was really good. The rotting and the disgusting, decomposition of her body, that was well done. Physical, practical, not very much CGI. There was a little, but a lot of it was practical. I'm very happy about that because, I can always tell usually when something's CGI and when something's practical. And this one, it didn't bum me out too much, really. The little bit of CGI they used, I thought was well done. There's just certain things in a low-budget movie that you just can't do practically with practical effects on a time constraint. They shot this movie in 18 days, which is fantastic because, the original Nightmare on Elm Street, that was like a 30-something day shoot, maybe a little bit longer with reshoots and all that stuff. So it was kind of just amazing they shot something of this quality and this caliber in such a short time period. And I was kind of impressed by that. The music I really liked. I hated her friends, but I think you're supposed to.
Except for her main friend. Her main friend was okay.
Yeah, the main friend was okay, Tracy, yeah, but she ends up meeting her maker in a really, really horrifying way. So I was like, well, yeah, I guess nobody can walk away from this unscathed. She's being reborn. That means everybody else must die, I guess. So it was kind of that dichotomy with the characters. And overall, I probably wouldn't watch it again, for a while because it's still so fresh in my mind. Kind of like the shock value you get with an M. Night Shyamalan movie. Once you see it once, you don't watch it again. At least I haven't. I think the only one of those I've ever seen more than once was Signs, and that's because I missed part of the movie the previous time, so I decided to go ahead and watch it. But ever since then, I've only ever watched his stuff one time. One viewing, and then once you know what's going to happen, it doesn't keep you, attracted to it. You don't really want to watch it again because you know the twist, you know what's happening. So overall, probably if I'm going to do it with, Freddy gloves or, something or, hatchets or, whatever, I'd probably give it about a 3. If they would have, given us more gore, more victims, and maybe a little bit more into the backstory of the production company, the Estrellas Pictures, I probably would have given it a 3.5. Something.
Yeah,
like that.
they even threw out something about the production company about how it was up before, you know what I mean? Like it was a big deal, and then it kind of fallen off. I'd like to know the backstory there. Just, even a 2-minute backstory.
Yeah. And that would have been good. And I think that would have improved my score for that if it would have had that. But, 3 out of 4, it was solid. I didn't expect to really like it, but I ended up actually really liking it, once it made it to the points that I mentioned earlier. But, yeah, I probably wouldn't watch it again. But I just wanted to recommend it to you guys because I was certain that neither one of you had seen it.
Well, the good thing is, I'll say this. For anybody who hasn't watched it, I think it's definitely worth watching. That's the best recommendation I can give it. It's definitely worth watching. It's not something to pass up. It's on Netflix for free. Give it a watch. See what you think. I mean, it's worth one watch for sure. So, I mean, I've talked about other movies in the past. I was like, it's up to you.
Yeah, I think it's definitely worth a watch, and I mean, it's probably up there with one of the better straight to Netflix movies that we've reviewed on the show, because most of them just got awful.
Yeah, and most of them have worse endings than this one. I didn't love the very end of this one. I liked, the lead up to it, but it was better than some of the shit we watched before. Good Lord. So it was a pleasant surprise. You picked well, Blake. And it was nice to talk about something we didn't know jack shit about going in. So, yeah, it was a fun one. And I enjoyed you doing the rundown and us jumping in being animals. So that was fun, too. So, obviously we have a segment on the show called Where Our Horror Adventures Have Taken Us, and, we've kind of spliced in some other movies and things like that we watched along the way. And Vic and I got the chance on, was it Friday, Vic, or Thursday? Thursday. Thursday, we got to watch the movie of 2017, as far as I'm concerned. It didn't come out in our area until 2018 because for some reason big movie theaters are stupid. And that movie, I felt like, was even better than better than Jigsaw by far. And it's not a horror movie, but fuck, it's fucking awesome. It reminded me of American Psycho, though. And it's I, Tonya. That movie was so fucking good. If you get the opportunity, don't wait. Go see it in the theaters. It's worth it. And then go buy that shit first day. Because I, Tonya was awesome. Margot Robbie was amazing in that. And it wasn't just her either. If you watch some of the... Well, okay, let me throw this out. I watched I, Tonya. And then a few days later, I watched Truth and Lies, Tonya Harding, the documentary that they did, probably like on NBC. And once you see these people, you realize how good of a job they actually did with I, Tonya. Because like her ex-husband, Jeff, and the bodyguard, Vic, like these people were actually this way. And if you have not seen I, Tonya yet, I give it a huge 4 machetes out of 4. And it's one of the few movies that I want to race out to own so I can watch it again. It was amazing, and it's a damn shame it didn't get released in more theaters because it's worth every bit of the 2 hours it takes. And it was 2 hours, but it didn't drag at all. Vic, I'll let you talk about it, too, since you watched it.
So, it was 2 hours, and I didn't even look at my phone one time the entire movie, and that's how good it was. Like, I mean, we went on, like, it was like 2 o'clock on a Thursday, and our theater was sold out. Like, everything about the movie was awesome, and I think a part of the reason why it was so awesome, at least to us, because I remember everything that happened and as it happened. You know what I'm saying? Like we were talking about, that was our childhood at OJ. You know what I'm saying?
And
stuff like
Menendez.
that happened while we were. Yeah. I remembered it as it was going on, and like just watching it all in movie format. Like I thought it was amazing, and yeah, it's definitely my number one movie from 2017. They just beat out it because it was great, but I, Tonya was so good. Everybody just played their part awesome.
Hey,
the mom was great. The cat friend was great. Like everybody's just awesome.
Vic, remember when I told you during the movie that I thought a little bit of Jersey was sneaking out of Margot Robbie in that movie? And I think it's just because she sounded like she did in a couple parts, not the whole thing at all. In a couple parts, she sounded like she did in Suicide Squad as Harley Quinn. And I'm watching this documentary, Truth and Lies, about Tonya Harding. Margot Robbie's British, so she doesn't have a natural Jersey accent. I guess when she's just trying to be American, it slips out. Yeah. And I'll tell you what, her British accent makes her that much hotter. I swear to God, Margot Robbie, whoo, she is fucking amazing.
Oh, I'm not gonna lie. I thought she was great in Suicide Squad. And that damn song got stuck in my head. I'm not a fan of like a lot of the electronic music because I'm a guitar player and actually compose things out the hard way and write things and melodies and formulas and whatever. And I use all my music training. But when I heard that song by 21 Pilots, Heathens, that shit was stuck in my head for like 2 or 3 months. If you haven't heard it, you need to listen to it because it's really good.
Okay, so I'll see if you guys can get the theme here of the other movies I've been watching. I watched Adam Green's Frozen. I watched The Shining. I watched The Thing from Another World. I watched The Live and The Gray. Anybody pick up on the theme here?
Winter isolation. Winter and isolation and fucking paranoia and insanity.
Well, we had snow. Yeah, we had snow and cold weather heaped upon us here in Louisville, Kentucky. And Blake, I know you have down there in bumfuck Nashville. But
I'm not in Nashville, God damn it! I keep telling you guys that. You're not
I didn't say you were in Nashville. I said you were in bumfuck Nashville, and Vic invented that place, so you live there.
Well, Vic can go bumfuck himself. Okay, fuck that shit. I'm not.
And he's just as upset as the first time he said it, Vic.
I'm not upset. I know y'all are fucking with me. Hey, I'm not upset.
So anyway, So we've already done a show on Adam Green's Frozen, so I don't need to talk about that. And we've done The Shining.
Adam Green,
you know,
also